Okay, let me know once you can see the screen. Anyone who can see the screen, guys? Anyone who can see the screen? Somebody's on video. Check your videos, guys. Check your mic, check your videos. Okay, right. So guys, we have seen the topics what we covered in the earlier, guys. We'll go back to the very first point that we have seen in the earlier days about the mainframe. Okay, so we've been learning this for the long time, guys, and we've been looking into only one point of the coin of data processing. Okay, so here we know about the data point. It is used to store the data here, and with respect to data, it is used to process the data. Earlier, guys, earlier when we are storing the data, we can use the file system here, which comes as PS file or be some KSDS cluster here. And then we go for the DB2 part as the database. Okay, as the database we use to store in the DB2 here. Now, when it comes to processing, guys, when it comes to processing, we have two types of processing. One is the batch processing. That's what we've been seeing till today. The other fellow is the online processing, guys. Batch processing and online processing. If you go back to the batch processing lines, what we discussed, guys, we told it is a bulk data process. Bulk data processing will happen for each program. Scheduled process without user interactions, guys, without user interactions here, and run through JCL. So we've been doing this for the long time. The programs whatever we have written, every program we have executed through JCL. In this batch module, guys, you need to have knowledge on COBOL. You should have a knowledge on JCL and the database as well. Along with the files, you need to have the knowledge on the database as well. Now, if you go for online processing, guys, which we want to see from today, in here, when a program executes, guys, it executes only for short data processing. So this will be always quick. Okay, since it is only one or two record processing, guys, it will be very fast to complete the program. But they are unscheduled, guys. Okay, they are unscheduled here, which mostly with the user interactions, followed by executions are done through CSS transaction IDs, guys. We are using JCL jobs earlier. Okay, we were using the JCL job earlier, guys. Now we want to use the CSS transaction ID to run. So there is a difference in the story now. Now in here, guys, if you want to get into the CSS part or online applications, you still need to have COBOL knowledge. You still need to have CSS plus a little bit of JSL also here and there required, guys. And then we need to go for the DB2. And here you have a file, but specifically you need to have a knowledge of KVSOM file here of KSDS type. Here you have a file knowledge, guys, but that for that the Quizom PS file was enough. But for online project, guys, PS files are not useful. Quizom KSDS cluster is the useful fellow. We will cover that in this module. We'll cover that in the module here. But now, if we want to learn more on the CSS, guys, okay, if I want to learn more on the CSS here, this particular one is referred as the customer information and control system, guys. This is the referred name as customer information and control system, or simply known as CSS, also called as kicks. Same names, everything is same. CSS or kicks are both same interchangeable names, guys. In here, if somebody asks you what is CSS, okay, then there are a lot of ways you can explain. One of the most simple way to explain is CSS is an interface, okay, a mediator, guys. CSS is an interface between your application program, the one which process the data, and the data source and the data source. Earlier, guys, earlier our programs, okay, before in the batch, guys, in the batch, the programs are executed in ZOS. But now guys, in online systems, the same programs are executed in CSCS system guys, in the CSCS environment. We also call this guys, we call the CSCS as mini operating system also. ZOS is your actual operating system guys, but CSCS itself can act as an operating system by processing the programs, by executing the program. In here guys, just for an example kind of imaginary, you can see Windows guys. Windows is your operating system guys. Within this, okay, within this you have the MS-DOS, another operating system inside it, the prompt based, the command prompt based is there. Similarly guys, similarly here you have ZOS operating system for mainframe, which is a screen based. Within this ZOS guys, you have CSCS, the same command based operating system. Here you have a green screens, okay, here you have a green screens to look into, but in CSCS you will not have any screens, you will be running through some transaction IDs there. So whenever you come across CSCS guys, okay, whenever you look into the CSCS part, I think I have not downloaded, or else just a second guys. Mainframe. Okay, just a second, I want to show you one diagram here. Now these things I need to download someday. Everything I should download. There's like 100 GB guys. I can't download them all together in this network. Currently my network is also not working good. So I have this PPT guys, where there is one particular diagram which I want to show you. Okay. You see this diagram guys, you see this PPT diagram here. Earlier guys, your application program was directly running in the operating system. But now guys, your program has to be executed in CSCS environment, which will be the mediator. If your program want to get the data from the screen, if the program want to get the data from a table, or if the program want to get the data from a data set, from any location guys, your application program cannot talk to the terminal directly, cannot talk to the database directly, cannot speak to the data sets also directly guys. Anytime your application program needs the data, it has to go and tell to CSCS. CSCS is the interface. So if application program want the data from a terminal, from the front end screen, then it has to go and tell the CSCS, get me the data. If your program want to get the data from data set, it has to go and tell the CSCS that please go get me the data from a data set. So CSCS is the interface guys, the mediator between your application program and your data sources. It could be a terminal from front-end user. It could be your inside data set or third-party database or internal queues. Any memory of data guys, you need to talk to CSCS to get the data of that. Okay, first point guys, what is CSCS? CSCS is a mini operating system guys, which acts as an interface between your application program and the data sources. Clear? Any doubts on first point? Any doubts on the first point guys? Now, as a technical point, okay, now as a technical point guys, we are not learning anything about CSCS operating system. Okay, we want to learn CSCS. We want to learn CSCS to interact with the data. So in here guys, there are 2 points you need to do. 2 points of communications we do guys. Of communications. One is the screen communication guys. One is the screen communication here. And the second one is the data communication guys. Within the CSCS learning, okay, as a developer guys, you will be writing programs. The programs are meant to process the data, and you need to know how to get the data into the program through CSCS. Earlier your files were mentioned in the JCL, your plan was mentioned in a JCL. Now it's not like that. You need to get the data from the system user there. You need to get the data from data source to CSCS part. So in the CACS guys, you will be learning two things. First thing is about screen communication. That means how you need to get the data from front end, the first part. Then once you got the data from here, because this is the source of input guys, this is the primary source of input. So once you got the input to your program guys, then you need to know how to do the data communication here. How to do the data communication here. So in the screen communication guys, okay, let me go back here a little bit. Let me give the details here. So the first thing is to simply know the introduction to CSCS guys. Just a second. Hello. Yes. Yeah. Tell me. We want training. Okay. So please call me after 1 hour. Na? I'm in class. Please call me or WhatsApp me after 1 hour. I'm in a class now. Hmm. Yeah, its class is going on. Please ping me after 1 hour, please. Okay, I need to tell 3 times to him. Fine, that's no problem. Maybe he is not expecting. So in our class, guys, okay, in the introduction today, I'll tell you what is the course plan, how you need to learn CSCS. But most important, guys, we are learning the communication of the system guys. So in here guys, there are two types here. One is the screen communication guys. First is the screen communication. In this screen communication guys, the very first step is to know how to design the CSCS or BMS maps. Okay, first of all, like I told you in the DB2 guys, to understand the DB2 queries, to understand the programs what you are writing in DB2 guys, primarily you should have knowledge on how the table was created. Similarly guys, in the CSCS, in the project, you may not create some new designs, you may not create new screens, but like I said, if you want to understand COBOL CSCS program, you need to know how the screens are created on the first place, how the front end system is set up in the first place, how they are connected. So you need to know how to design the BMS program here. Then you need to know how to do the compilation of the screens, how to do the setup of the screen, and how to see the screen layouts in the program. Once you're done with the screen design guys, the next part, the second part what you'll have here is you need to code the COBOL DB2, sorry, COBOL CSCS program. Your first COBOL CSCS program, how to code the COBOL CSCS program. Once you know how to code guys, then I need to tell you how to do the compilation here. Like if it is only COBOL, we did differently guys. If it is COBOL DB2, we did differently. So if at all you want to compile COBOL CSCS program, how to do the setup here, and how to execute the programs guys, how to execute the programs. You got it? First part is to know how to set up the front end part guys. Now this is the primary thing. This guys, we need at least 3 to 4 sessions here. Okay, we need at least 3 to 4 sessions here to understand this part. And in this guys, almost 80% guys will be theory only. Lot of theory because everything is new. Every word is new guys. Let me get off this one. It will help, it won't ping us. So 80% of things are completely theory guys. Everything is new. What is a map is a new. Nobody knows how to design a map. So there are a lot of new things comes as theory of 80% guys. Remaining 20% guys, which is very easy to complete your program part. Then comes guys in the second part of the screen communication. Okay, in the second part guys, you need to know how to do the screen navigations. You need to know how to do the screen navigations guys. You cannot sit on one screen, guys. The user will not sit on one screen. The user always try to go with one screen to another screen jumping. So you need to know how to see the screen navigations, guys. Then comes to the data communication. Okay, the first part was the screen communication, guys. The second part is the data communication. Now when you know how to get the data from the front end, okay, that is input, guys. You got the input here. Now to process the input, you need to know how to get the data for reference from data sets, from table, from queues. So there are three different locations, guys. For data communication, the first thing we need to know how to talk to the database. So you need to know how to code a program with COBOL, CSS and DB2 involved. In here you also need to know how to compile, guys, how to set up and how to execute. So execution will be same, setup will be different there. Once you know how to talk to a DB2, guys, in here the second part will come to the Visum KSDS cluster. So we need to know how to code a program that involves COBOL plus CSS plus a KSDS cluster. So we will be talking about this cluster more clearly in this module. Again, compilation is very much simple. Okay, setup is little bit different and execute. You don't have JCL, guys. Okay, instead of JCL, you're doing this setup manually here. And then the last part, what you need to know is how to get the queues into the concept. Okay, so the queues are internal queues, guys. These are TS queues and TD queues. These are not MQs, guys. Okay, to the people who are getting confused, we are not talking about MQs. Our system and my experience is so less in that concept. So we'll be coding a program to understand the COBOL, CSS and the queue concept. Compilation is not a big thing here, but setup is required for some places and execution part. So you need to learn these things, and along with that some small points will come, guys. Some design techniques will come in the topic here itself. Some error handling will come here. So you need to learn all these things, guys. You need at least somewhere like 7 to 8 sessions are required here. Somewhere like 8 sessions are required. We'll be covering both theory and practical, guys. Whatever I can show you in theory, I can show you in practical, whatever is listed here. Okay, we are still in introduction, guys. In the introduction, we told simply that it is an interface which is used for your communication channel. Either it is for screen communication for the first step, and the next step is the data communication. So any questions here? Any questions here?
Anil, there is one more thing now. Web services means we are getting into the of that.
No, as I told you now, just now I just told you now, the MQs and web service. I'll give a heads up what is that, but we don't cover them. We don't have that options in our system.
Okay.
Not covered, guys, and don't worry. I'll tell you what happens also. Okay, I'll show you what happens as well, but we'll come to that. We'll come to this. And I'll give overview knowledge, guys. I'll give an overview knowledge in case in the project or interview, if somebody asked you, you can tell what you did.
We are well able to work also because yes, CICS I didn't work.
I did not get you.
So we were able to work also on the project. If we get selected for the CICS project, we
That
were
is
able
fine.
to.
See,
Yeah.
again, don't worry about your project work, guys. As long as you're good in COBOL, you can work in any project of any module. Either it is a batch of DB2 or online of CSS, guys. COBOL is the most important. In DB2, guys, how many queries you have learned? Only 4, right? Similarly, in CSS also, you will be learning somewhere like 6 to 8 commands, guys. Only small part you are adding, guys. The architecture of execution will change, but the logics, whatever you do after you get the data, guys, will be always in COBOL only. The logics are written in COBOL, guys, not in CSES. The logics are written in COBOL, not in DB2. DB2 is used to store the data. CSES is used to communicate the data. And COBOL is the one to write the logics and processing of the data. So if you are good in COBOL, guys, do not worry whether you are working for online application or batch application, guys. As long as you have the COBOL knowledge, you can work technically. But it's not that batch and online are similar, guys. The response of batch and the response of online will be different. When you see the response, guys, the most important here is this fellow, the user interactions. In batch, guys, there is no user to ask you a question. So if there is an abend, you can fix it by yourself. Nobody will come and ask you anything. But if there is an issue in the front end, guys, user will come and ask what happened to my data, whether it is updated or not. Somebody has did an ATM transaction, guys, just a normal example, and he got the message that it has been debited, but the machine did not dispense the money. The ATM machine did not generate the cash, guys. Now that is a big problem for the user. So he will not keep quiet. He will raise a message to you. He will call the bank. He'll call some fellow and tell the situation. Now what the system has to do from the back end, they need to verify whether the ATM has really dispensed the money or not. If it has not dispensed, why it has deducted it, what is the fault in the message, and then you have to go back to the user record and you need to revert the balance. But by the time you did, guys, the batch process will complete and it says that at the end of the day, this is the balance what you have in the bank. So it is a mess up, guys. A small mistake in the online process now, it will cause a mess in that part of place. So that is the difficulties in the batch and online. So, but technically COBOL, guys. Okay. Any questions before I start some more points here on the DB2, sorry, on the CSCS? Any other points? When you're working on the CSCS, guys, okay, when you want to work with the CSCS, which is the screen communication, guys, screen communication, the most common reason, okay, the reason to use CSCS, let's say we'll go like that. So reason, guys, is to quick access to data, guys. During batch process also data gets updated, guys, but sometimes what happens, there are users whose interaction with the system needs faster data replies. The users, guys, okay, there are two users here, okay, there are two kinds of users, guys, two kinds of users here who trying to access the mainframe data. Okay, there are two kinds of users, guys, who are accessing the mainframe data. First kind is the customer friend, user friend system, guys. These are the user friend system. And then there is a customer friend system. There is other one is the customer friend system. My keyboard, okay, like this. There are two kinds of systems, guys, from the front end part. One is user friend system and customer friend system. So you may see what is a user or customer. For that, let me show you here. You have a client, guys. He has a project. Okay, he has been maintaining some business here. Okay, so you have the business data here. All the business data is over here. Now, on the right side, guys, on the right side, you will see the business users, the internal project people, guys. They want to access the data for their analysis. For analysis of the project, guys, they want to access the data here. And also there are IT teams. There are IT teams who want to access the data for their analysis or testing like this. And on top of this, guys, on top of this, there is other fellow who want to access the same data, that is your customers. Guys, okay, let's say if I have an account in a bank, guys, if I have an account in a bank, will I be a client or IT person or business user or a customer, guys? Who I am? If I have an account in a bank, who I am to the bank? My customer, guys, or a business user or a client or an IT person for a bank. I'm a customer. So as a customer, guys, I want to see my balance. Okay, I want to check my balance, guys. I want to check the balance. Now there is a customer, guys. He has applied for a loan and he want to know the status of the loan. So he called the bank manager, guys, who will be your business user, the person who can access the system inside. That person also needs the system, guys. Okay, he check want to check the details of the bank, details of the branch. They want to check how many customers are there in a branch. So you have the data in mainframe, guys. You have the data in the mainframe. If the data is in the mainframe, guys, okay, if the data is in mainframe, guys, if I am the technical person, if I am the IT person, guys, if I am the IT person here, what I can do, I can log into mainframe. Okay, I can log into mainframe here. I can do some navigations on ISPF, and then I go to the spoofy tool. Okay, let's say table, guys. Let's assume table. Then what I can do, I can write a query, some SQL query there, and execute it, and I can see the data. I can see the data. That's what IT person can do. But if I'm an user, guys, okay, if I'm a business user, if I'm a business user, guys, and I want to see the data, okay, I want to see the data, I want to interact with the data or change the data. In here, guys, a business user is inside person, company person only. So what he can do, he can, guys, he can log into mainframe. Fine. But the problem here is, can he use the spoofy tool, guys? Can he use the spoofy tool here? As a business user, guys, he might be good in analyzing the data. He may be good in the numbers, guys, but he is not will be ready to understand what the SQL cores are, everything here. But he needs the data, guys. He need to see the data. If you are the user, guys, okay, if you are the customer now, okay, if I'm the customer, guys, I'm the customer here. Can I log into mainframe, guys? Into mainframe as a customer here. I have an account in SDFC Bank, guys. Can I log into SDFC mainframe? You got it? You got the question right? We cannot be like I have the data, guys. The bank details are there in here only. But everyone has to access the data. Only the IT person can access the data directly with his skills. Non-IT person of business user or the customer, guys, they are not having access to get into the mainframe here. For them, guys, we create these online systems. For them, we create the online systems so that the users and the customers can access the data without getting into out or with getting into the queries and everything. Technically, they don't need to work around. They don't need to work on the technical part. So in here, guys, there are two front-end systems. That's what I'm telling. User-friend system and customer-friend system. If it is a user-friend system, guys, okay, if it is a user-friend system, we'll be doing like this. We will be giving a CSS screen, guys. We'll be giving a CSS screen to the user. Okay, we'll be providing a CSS screen to the user, and user will interact with the screens, guys. User will interact with the screen, and when he provide any input, and press enter, guys, when you provide any input and press enter here, the control will go to the CSS system. System will trigger your program, guys, trigger your COBOL program, COBOL CSS program, and the program will check the tables or files or anything here and then reply back. This is a single line flow, guys. This is a single line flow. But if it is a customer friend system, guys, okay, customer friend systems are little different. So the customer will not log into CSS, guys. The customer will be using the Java or .NET frameworks. The Java or .NET frameworks they use, guys. Customers cannot log into the mainframe, guys. Users will have login IDs, but customer will have customer IDs, guys. I'll be logging to the portal there. A web page will be given to me. Net banking case, I'll be logging to my bank portal, guys. Now in here, when I give input and press any button, guys, in this case, you'll be having buttons. Now what happens here is this Java, guys, or this front-end system, what you have is not a friend with mainframe. This particular fellow of Java system, guys, is not a friend of mainframe. So it cannot directly come and talk to mainframe here. So what it does here, guys, it uses a middleware systems. It uses a middleware systems. In this case, web services. Web services are the mid system guys. They will have some REST and SOAP calls. You don't need to learn this one. Using these calls guys, they can trigger the CSS tran. They can trigger the CSS transaction ID by this REST web services. There is a separate team guys. Web service is not you. You are not in the web service team guys. You will know that the system from the front end guys, they cannot directly come and talk to the mainframe. So they use the web services system here to interact and trigger the CSS strand. Once the CSS strand is triggered guys, your COBOL CSS program, your program will start execute here. Okay, once the CSS strand is triggered, then only the program will execute guys, and then it will process it. But this web service is doing only half of the part guys. The web services in between guys, they do only half of the part. The other half is about the data guys. Web service will only trigger, it won't pass data. Whereas in your CSS guys, the trigger and the data will come together. The trigger and the data will come together to the process. But in the front end systems of customer end guys, web service are used only for triggering the tran. The data will come in some other way, what we call them as MQs, message queues. So you'll be having a separate topic called message queues. From there, your program will be reading it here like this. So if the program want to reply guys, it will update in message queue. If the program want to read also, it will be using MQs. So this web services and this MQs are two different teams. Okay, they are not even same also. So what we do in the project guys, if anything new MQs has to be created, we'll raise a request to this MQ admin. They will create the queues for us, what queues we need to use. And in our program guys, we'll have a subroutines. In the program, we'll have subroutine guys. Using that subroutine, we will place the message in the queue. Once the message has been in the queue, the receiving end, either web service or Java system, they will read the queue and update the customer. So from the technical side of mainframe guys, you will be learning, okay, you need to have, you will have the MQs, names will be there. You will be having test MQs, production MQs will be there. These are created by the MQ system people, not by you. Second thing what you need to do, you will be having sub programs to read and write into those queues. You'll be having one input queues. Sometimes you'll be having output queues, either one or both. So whatever queue you have, you need to use the corresponding sub programs to put the queue. You don't write a COBOL program for interacting queues, guys. Queues are there for everyone. All the programs which are using customer friend system will use queues, will use MQs. So you don't write any new program today. It's already there. You just need to use the subprogram, application subprogram, not even your COBOL program, application subprogram you have to use. And then you need to tell which function you are doing for which data. Just like a simple call statement, you'll be providing them and putting them in the queues. So this is a reason guys why we don't explain more of MQs, because this is not in our agenda or not even curriculum, and web service is also out of the scope. Technical guys, our software is not capable of doing anything of this. Our software guys will not have any connection from Java system to here. We don't know Java how it will work. So I cannot tell you this. We don't have any MQ level of knowledge, so we cannot explain here. In our system guys, okay, in real mainframe also. In the mainframe guys, when you talk about front-end systems, guys, if you have 100 applications guys, 100 applications of front end, 80 systems guys will be user friend only. 80 systems will be user friend. Only 20 applications guys will be customer end. Only 20 application will be the customer friend systems, which will be having this MQs and web services. Why? Because 80% is used by internal people. We don't give excessive access for external people guys. Customer can only access couple of screens only. Customer can only interact with couple of front end systems. He cannot come inside and see all the data. So this is what we are learning. We are learning the customer friend system, guys, where we have the CSCS screens, not Java screens, and the CSCS triggers and the CSCS program. This is what we are learning in our training. Okay, let me help you one more time here. In the online application, guys, there are two sides of applications. One is the customer application, guys. When you say customer application, they will be using front-end Java system. So if there is a problem in the web page, guys, the ticket will not come to you. The ticket will go to the Java people. If there is a ticket on data, then what the Java people will do, they will pass the ticket to you and say the data is coming wrong. Can you check? Because they will not be holding the data. You are the one to hold the data. If it is a user friend system, guys, if the screen is not getting displayed, if there is any error on the screen, if the data is not there for any reason, guys, for a user friend system, you are the direct contact. So you'll get the ticket directly. No mediators. No mediators there. So if at all it is a front end of customer, guys, there are a couple of mediators to talk about. So if somebody says Java is not getting data from a queue, they will not ask you. They'll check the queue. They'll check with the queue team. If the call trigger is not happening, then the web service will come and say what happening, why it is not triggered. Because when you are talking from outside the mainframe to the inside the mainframe, guys, there will be a lot of security certificates to apply. There are some security protocols to follow. So these protocols will be applied and validated by this team. But internally, when you are in CSCS, guys, there is no security protocols. They will check only user access. Whether the user have access to this screen or not, they will check that one only in the program. So you will be learning only one part of the story, guys, that is user friend system here. Okay, user friend system. Clear? Any questions here? Any questions, guys? Okay, then we will start the actual class from tomorrow, guys. Okay, we'll start the actual CSCS screen communication part from tomorrow. So that first classes, guys, first three classes will be very dry and theory classes. Rest everything is easy, guys. This part you know, guys, you already know how to talk to a DB2. You already know how to talk to a file. So these classes are very dummy and easy. The only thing it is new is how to design the screen, how to write the first COBOL CSS program. So that part we will be learning in a different way, guys. That will be the new thing that will take some time for 3 classes. Rest everything you can complete. Even this also very easy. Only this part is hard, guys. Okay. Just have a part. Okay. We'll come back to the theory part again tomorrow. We'll learn most of the assembler language tomorrow, a little bit of assembler language, and then we will use it for our coding purpose. Okay. Any questions quickly? Okay, fine then. If no questions, just attend another couple of 4 classes, guys. You will understand everything. Later, everything will be simple as well. See you then.